I'm Brian Larson, Chief Technology Officer at Superior Consulting Services. Welcome to part 3 of our series on the Power BI toolset. In this video, we'll take a look at Power Pivot. Power Pivot is in some ways similar to Power Query in that it pulls data into the data model. But the emphasis with Power Pivot is tuning that data model once the data has been brought inside. Power Pivot can pull data from a number of different types of sources, including files and relational databases. But the emphasis with Power Pivot is on adding powerful calculations and business logic into the model itself. Power Pivot lives inside of Excel and, to a lesser extent, inside of the Power BI Designer. Taking a look at Power Pivot, once the Power Pivot add-in is enabled within Excel, the Power Pivot tab shows up on the window. Clicking the Manage item on that ribbon will take us into the Power Pivot Designer. You can see we already have a number of tables that we brought in through Power Query that are in our Power Pivot model. We'll go ahead and bring in a few more tables directly through Power Pivot. These will come from a SQL Server database. We can either query the tables or bring in the tables as a whole. In this case, we'll select 3 tables that we want to bring in. And we'll choose to do some filtering on one of these tables. There's a couple of columns that we will not need within the model, so we'll deselect those and go ahead and pull in the information. We can also use that feature for filtering out any rows within those tables that we don't want within our model. You can see that we're pulling in the sales information from that sales table very rapidly. We've already pulled in several million rows of data. Power Pivot is extremely efficient at pulling large amounts of data into the model. Now that that's completed, we can see that each of those tables has been added to our model. We can do some cleanup here within Power Pivot, including renaming the columns to make them more user-friendly. We can also do some advanced configuration here on this particular table with our country information. We can set up a row identifier or primary key. We can also indicate a default label for each record and a default image, in this case, a flag for each country that is represented in the table. We can then take a look at the diagram view of our model and begin creating relationships between the tables. I'll rearrange the tables here a little bit so that we can see all of them at one time. And then we'll begin dragging and dropping the columns to create relationships. In this case, we have various forms of the country name that are set up within our country table to suit the different variations of country name that are found within each of our information tables. We can also create a relationship between the product ID that's in our sales table and the product lookup table. Once we've created these relationships, we're going to hide the columns in the information tables and have the user select countries from the main table that they are related to. We're also going to create a product hierarchy within the product table so that we can drill down from a product type to product subtype and then to the individual products themselves. We'll go ahead and click on the button to create the hierarchy. We'll give it a little friendlier name here. And then we'll drag each level of the hierarchy to do the final steps in the hierarchy creation. Next, we'll create some measures within the model. Measures provide us with a way to aggregate quantities across multiple rows in a table. Here we're creating a measure that will give us the sum of the population across multiple rows in the model. We'll give it a little nicer name here, call it population total, and we'll also apply some formatting so that that quantity is output in a easily read format. There's our measure that was created for total population. We'll add another measure for average population by using a different aggregate function within our measure. Again, we'll give that a nice measure name, and we'll apply some formatting within the model. There's our average population measure. Finally, we'll hide the population column itself and have the users make use of the measures when they want to display population information. That's a quick overview of Power Pivot. Be sure to continue on to part 4 of our series to learn how to visualize the data in the Power Pivot model using Power View. If you're looking for additional information or assistance with any of the Power BI tools, please check out our website at www.teamscs.com.